It is 12 o'clock here on your Friday the 13th, and you're taking a live look at Doppler radar. Most of us have remained dry up until this 12 o'clock hour, but some of us, Peep Peep, Switzerland, Carroll counties, down south and west of Cincinnati, even just west towards Decatur counties, starting to see those showers and a few rumbles of thunder. We'll check in on that radar here in just a second. Let's do a temp check now that it is 12 o'clock this afternoon. The temperature hasn't budged a whole lot, and that's because we've had ample cloud cover to keep us from getting too warm so far, but also not exactly too much of a difference from what we woke up to this morning. So you guys know how I work. What I'm going to do is the graphics that I control are going to be to my right, and right below me is a constant look at radar right now. That is active Doppler radar. You see it right below me. Showers and storms on the horizon for much of the western side of the tri-state area. Now, I don't think it's all going to be bad. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and start controlling the radar here on the right side of your screen to give you an idea of what we're seeing within these thunderstorms, which not a whole lot of lightning being reported out of this one. Our main cluster of thunderstorms that will be impactful, at least in the immediate future, is now trekking just south of Monterey, just a little bit farther east of Louisville, but it'll be here before we know it. This is not a severe thunderstorm, but there is a special weather statement out, so it's stronger, but not quite reaching those severe limits. Mainly downpours, lightning, of course, your characteristic thunderstorm criteria, and then also what I'm seeing is some gusts, wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour, and pea-sized hail, which the severe limits for both of those, wind gusts 60 mile per hour, give or take, and hail about 1 inch in diameter. So not seeing that quite yet, but should this strengthen, we'll be watching pretty carefully. And it has strengthened since I've been tracking it since it popped up. Now, if you're tuning in from Falmouth, maybe a little bit farther south towards Cynthiana, you've got another hour and some change. These are very slow movers. This is moving northeast at about 20 miles per hour. And I think this is good because even though this cluster of thunderstorms is on the stronger side, it's limiting the severe potential for later today. More on that in a second. I want to talk about the now. If you're tuning in just west of Versailles and Ripley County, Westport and Decatur, Greensburg, Batesville area, southeastern Indiana, yeah, you got a decent amount of showers. No thunderstorms quite yet out that direction, but want to give you that first alert. Here's what I'm talking about. Look at this line of thunderstorms that has developed just seemingly west of I-65 in the Commonwealth. From Louisville down to Bowling Green, that line is mainly going to be producing some straight line winds. This is good, even though we can see damage from straight line winds, at least not rotational winds. The tornadic threat is incredibly low with this, just because the risk of stronger straight line winds is there. So what you're seeing here is going to be what we're watching through the afternoon into the early evening, and then it'll pass on east by the overnight. It's a decent amount of rain as well. If the one thing is that is locking into our forecast is not so much the severe threat, but rather the impact of heavy rain to your Friday evening plans. I'm going to talk about the rainfall. I'm going to talk about the timing here in just a second, so do bear with me. Right now, once again, it is 78 degrees. It's sticky outside. Most of us have not seen the rain, but you almost wish that you were seeing the rain just because of how sticky it is, humid. Humidity at 76 typically for this, I think this time yesterday it was in the 40s, 40%. So visibility has taken a hit, just with a little bit of fog suspended in the air. 78 feels like 80 degrees, and there is a bit of a breeze there from the south. All right, let's talk about the timing. I'm going to back it up because this will make a lot more sense. So here is within the hour. This is what I'm seeing. That's that cluster of thunderstorms starting to come on in. We were already seeing it in parts of the tri-state. Here's 2 o'clock on this same model run. Notice that it kind of loses a little bit of its steam north of Cincinnati. Again, the threat for anything stronger has always been just south of Cincinnati, whereas those towards Hamilton, Middletown, even Connorsville, mainly just downpours and the occasional lightning strikes, whereas areas towards Owenton, maybe even as far north as the Cincinnati metro, could be getting some of those stronger thunderstorms. Regardless of if they're severe or not, it's going to impact those afternoon plans. So here's 3, here's 4 o'clock, take you into 5:30-ish. Notice those deeper colors start to arrive just south of the area. That's where we're watching for those gusty winds and maybe some severe hail as well. It's an isolated threat. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get any severe warnings out of this, but nevertheless, we'll be keeping you up to date with that. That'll sail east and away from the area by about 9 to 10 o'clock tonight. And it takes with it the rain. We're going to be waking up tomorrow maybe a little soggy from the night before, but at least on the drier side of the spectrum, I think most of that shower activity is going to be arriving towards the afternoon. I've brought you to 12:30 tomorrow, in which heat, humidity, it's providing a good environment for these bubbling thunderstorms. So if you have any plans towards the afternoon and evening, I don't think it's going to be a washout, because you'll see here these showers and storms are very garden variety. And what that means is, while they are likely in some spots, not too far down the road is it going to be sunny. It's just one of those days in which wait for the downpour to pass on by, and then you can go about your plans. But just have a plan B just in case. Here, 6, 7, 8. We talked about this just a minute ago. There is a small flooding threat with this, and that's because these downpours, these thunderstorms, where we get them, they're going to park themselves wherever they're able to bubble up. They're going to park themselves there for several hours, and so several inches of rain possible in some spots. Now, there's a very small severe threat. I think tomorrow is mainly going to be about the heavy rain at times. And then your Father's Day, we're watching a new trend here, folks, and it's looking better for the afternoon. Here is your lunchtime. This is what it looks like, kind of similar to Saturday afternoon, just less likelihood of actual thunderstorms. And in the evening, a little bit more of a drier trend there. We'll let you know if it changes. It's just a trend we're going to be keeping a close eye on. So not necessarily a washout both days this weekend, but one of those days one of those weekends rather, that you will want to have the umbrella at the ready. And here are those rainfall totals. So through the end of the day today, most of that heavy rain is going to stick south of the tri-state entirely. However, parts of northern Kentucky could see up to half of an inch of rain, especially after what we're seeing now, plus whatever we're getting this afternoon. Depends on those thunderstorms, right? By the end of this weekend, I know I hate it when I say this. It really just depends, guys, because it really just depends. Because thunderstorms where we do see these flare up could produce, you see it here on your screen, several inches of rain, whereas not too far away, we're talking just a county over, less than an inch is possible as well. So this model is suggesting that maybe just along 71, there's where those higher totals are being seen, but other models have it north, others have it south. Just be prepared. If you see it on your First Alert weather app, you see those showers starting to get closer and closer, that maybe they're flaring up right over your head, expect them to stick around for a while, because that's just the nature of these showers and storms. And so flash flooding is going to be a concern moving into the overnight hours tonight. And once again, it's a marginal risk. It's very low. It's not the worst that we've ever seen, right? But it is still there, especially coming off such a dry streak. We talk so much about how the roads will develop those puddles, right? Especially areas that have poor drainage, but also it's been so dry recently that even the soil is going to have, the mud is going to have trouble absorbing heavy rain. At least it's going to take a few hours. So you might see runoff just in the grass as well. Interesting look out there, but regardless, we'll be watching for these showers and storms. Let's see if we have any questions. Not seeing any questions coming on our Facebook comments. Hopefully that means I did a good job of explaining it to you guys, but of course, we'll update that forecast at Fox 19, on Fox 19 now at 3. Let's get into that 7-day forecast. So the next 7 days, each and every single day has a chance for showers and storms, but not a single one of those days is a washout quite yet. Of course, that is subject to change. So here's that 7 day. Strong afternoon storms possible. We're already seeing some of those stronger thunderstorms popping up right now. 84 degrees is still your forecast high. Depends on if we get a break between round 1 and round 2, which honestly is looking less and less likely. That's good. It limits the severe threat for round 2. Saturday, 80 degrees, scattered storms. Father's Day, Sunday, a little less warm, so less potential for storms, but still watching for spotty showers and a few rumbles of thunder, especially towards the beginning of the day. If you had to pick a time of day to head outside, dinner time, bust the grills out. At least it's looking better. The trend is our friend. All right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Reds are at home, and so are the storm chances. We're going to be watching each day for a chance for storms, right? And that's because we're seeing temperatures in the mid to low 80s. Very normal for this time of year. I will say the silver lining of a forecast like this, a very stormy pattern, is that it keeps those temperatures from getting too warm or too cold. They're pretty average. If anything, they're just a little bit below average. All right, we're going to do one last radar check before I hop off of here. It is 12:10 this Friday the 13th. Parts of the area, good light show just being seen south of Williamstown in northern Kentucky. Carrollton is getting hit by those showers. Few rumbles of thunder seen south of Carrollton. Again, most of us have remained entirely dry up until this point at 12:11. It's not going to stay the same. Of course, we are tracking the return of those showers and storms everywhere, at least at some point throughout the weekend. I'm going to show you one last look at the bigger picture here. While it is starting to become a little bit more of a light show, this cluster of thunderstorms is strengthening as it approaches Owen County in northern Kentucky. Right now, I'm still not seeing anything that's too concerning. Right now, I'm looking at my phone radar to give you an idea of why I'm kind of looking down here. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if we've got some stronger wind gusts with this right now, anywhere from 40 to 45 miles per hour. But perhaps the biggest impact from what you're seeing right here is how heavy the rain is. I mean, we've got the reds, the yellows, the oranges, and we've gotten a good flare up of lightning. This guy is strengthening as it travels north and east, but my hopes with this is that, while it is strengthening, we're going to be watching for anything stronger for this first line. It will zap the energy available for this more potent line of showers and storms, which has already lost a lot of steam as it treks closer and closer to Louisville. All right, zooming on in, one last look at this cluster of storms that are active right now at 12:12. Just north of Greensburg, got a good a good shower, a downpour. Again, lightning tracker is on in my image right now, and I'm not too impressed. I'll be very honest, which is good. Not a huge impact, but of course, if you're driving, any rain does a lot of damage, or it can, or impact. I'm looking at velocity behind the scenes, again, just as like a precaution, but as forecast, it's really not too impressive in that department. This is mainly heavy rain, lightning, a small hail threat, and maybe some gusty winds coming in as well. We'll let you know if any warnings are issued in the coming hours. We'll let you know if the chance for severe weather drops. Of course, it really just depends on how what you're seeing right here, develops. But for now, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. It is 12:13 on Friday the 13th, live in Queensgate. Stay weather aware. Happy Father's Day weekend to all the father figures out there, and do your best to enjoy it.